like in the case of him, I think he suffered from what like I would refer to as like that East Coast syndrome. And what I mean by that is that there was a time where every artist on the East Coast was getting deals, and they looked at the label as the end all be all to their success. Like you have people who are really big artists at one point who just don't know how to move in a space without a label.
Yes.
Like you can take an artist like Mace for example. Like Mace sold like close to 10 million records, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Like that means that 10 million people like touched him. And like, but when the game changed to a virtual space, it was like he was buying followers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, dang, like some people just like it's almost like people who get lost in translation between MySpace and Facebook, and then the friends you left back on Facebook, you on Twitter, like, damn, why you over there on Facebook? And now you on the gram, and they over there, they just doing the most. There's all memes, and now you on the Snap, looking like I ain't messing with them. You know what I'm saying? We on the gram. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of people get lost in translation, and artists do too. Now with how to maneuver the virtual space for an artist, I feel like not just with musicians, but with people. Like there's two type of people on the internet. I think there's a people who take their real life and amplify it virtually, and people who are able to do that are successful artists. You can take like a Chance, for example, who, like I remember he did the shows at Leaders, and it was a big deal because he like did 2 shows at Leaders that were packed, and like 10-day was this big thing. Like we overlooking the fact that Leaders hold like 45 people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's a story online because the internet puts a bullhorn on that, and it becomes a bigger story.
Yeah, I'm still hearing stories of his listening session at Juggernaut. Chance was in a tree or something like that.
Right.
Okay, something along those lines. So he got stories. Yeah.
Yeah, but these things, like when taken to a virtual space, can be amplified when done the right way. Like so, it has to be something that exists in the real world for you to put that time signal by to take virtually. So you got those people who are able to do that, but then you got those people who exist only virtually.
Yeah.
And like it's and they want the real world to be a reflection of their virtual space.
And that's not gonna happen if you don't.
I mean, it's not gonna happen at all. Like it's. I mean, that's when you have these people like the early ages of it was like Mail Order Brides or like I know people like there's at this point there's probably like thousands of people who have gotten married. They met via Facebook and you know, and then they got in each other DMs and like got a divorce. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's people who who exist strictly virtually. You know what I'm saying? And who aren't able to detach. And like, we just seeing it spread, and it's grown out of those like, what are those little games they have where the people little Farmville type? Like,
Yeah.
It's like the whole world is like Facebook is like another one of those things.
No, I can agree.
Yeah. Second Life, I think.
Yeah. That was like the first one.
You know, actually, I want to bring my homegirl Joyce Sparks in. This is Joyce Sparks, everyone.
Oh,
nice to meet
what up, Joyce?
Hi. Hey.
Bloggers, introduce yourself, because I don't want to cut you short.
No, you're good. Yeah, you started off blogger. I've been running Underground Joyride, created it in 2011, been running it since then. Manager, entrepreneur, entertainment, everything around entertainment that you could think of except producing, I do.
Word.
So the question was.
And she rock fly scarves.
That's just like one of them.
Yeah.
I got the collection now.
Word.
But the question was, what do you say? What are your thoughts about artists who think that it's only okay, or that it's sufficient to just live in a social space, just that internet. The internet world and really nowhere in reality. Because you're a blogger, so you have that perspective.
It's a give and take. It's got to be a balance. It's not okay just to be on the internet because when people see you in real life, they expect you to uphold that life that you portray on social media. So if you can't do that, then it's a problem. And I've seen people get caught up that way. But in order to be a successful artist, in some sense, you have to have some type of social media presence. And sometimes a lot of people, whether you're going independent or not, labels look at that, fans look at that, we follow people off the strength of how interesting they are and what they got going on in their life. So, I mean, in order to gain followers and get your social presence out there, it's definitely important to have a life on social media. It definitely helps boost it, but if you can't back it up, then
You see, okay. Recently, I kind of like I had a debate on that. Now, is it really important to have like a social presence? Because
Yes, very much so.
because I would say the top 3 artists really don't have it.
I agree with you. I hate to hop in right on you.
Yeah.
Like I actually don't. I think that as an artist, the first thing that's most important is that you gotta be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and
Absolutely.
I think that if you're really good, people will speak about you in the virtual space.
So I agree with you, but my thing is why is that just such a high bar that people just dismiss that the actual guys who are actually selling records, actually selling
Drinks,
yeah.
But you know what? It's a finesse to it though, if you think about it, because those artists only post like once a week, twice a week.
Kendrick like maybe once a month.
Right.
My album
But when they
dropping.
do post,
Right.
it's like 3 million likes to the photo because they create that kind of facade. So like if you're a model or something, people gonna expect you to post every day on the hour on that, you know.
Mhm.
But if you're somebody like the Kendricks and the Jay-Z's and stuff like that, and you only post like once every 3 months, that's kind of how you set your social media up. I'm not a social media person. I'm gonna only tweet y'all when it's important. So even they still have a social media
I see
presence,
what you're saying.
even though it's really minor.
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I just know that when it comes to social media, it's a numbers game, obviously. Just like the music industry, it's a numbers game. And what these big corporations and what these advertisers and what they're looking at in regards to sponsoring, if you want to move into the real big leagues, you know, they're looking at your numbers. They're looking at, okay, who's following this person. Like, so it's very important for artists. I hear what y'all saying, but y'all trying to put me out of business.
No, I'm not trying to put you out of business. Because it's needed. No, because it's needed.
But
Like,
I get it. I get
Just
what
to
you-
make it clear, though, to piggyback on what Joyce was saying and the necessity of a person like Keena, like what it means is that like, is it important? It is important, but what it is that there needs to be someone to manicure and to pretty much tailor make your personality
on social
in this
media.
virtual
Absolutely.
space.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
when it
Called messaging, people.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when you do exist there, like the sweat equity, like so for example, take a Beyonce or a Jay-Z and these guys, like that like they don't have to tweet, but their version of tweeting is making sure they're not outside popped.
Well,
Because it will end up on social media,
Mhm.
and when it does land there, it has to be in this elegant way.
well, here's the thing about like those artists though, like Beyonce and Jay-Z and all that. They came into their prime way before, so way
True that.
before social
And that's the
media.
thing.
So it's
That's
not.
what I'm trying to say. It's like, yes, you have to have, you got to have a
But-
presence, but their profile was really built off of music, and then,
Right.
of course,
But
when you see like Jay-Z start up Instagram, it's gonna shoot right up to 1 million in probably about
Right.
48 hours.
But in
True.
this day, like in 2015,
You need it.
if you're an artist and you
You need it.
yeah, it's
I
definitely
think that
needed.
you need it, but like I don't necessarily think need. I think that you need the people talking about you there.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
disagree though. I got a 17-year-old sister. She's just
Right.
freshman year in college. She hear about new artists and she don't hear about them via the radio. She hear about them on social
On
media.
blogs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my point,
Yeah,
and
it
I
can-
think that we
mm.
saying the same thing, and hence to people are talking about them
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So like with and like
Don't get
any
me
people
started
like
with
you like a Keena or Joyce, like people who are making sure that these personas virtually like are attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like even if a person didn't have a Twitter, and like people they were just a hashtag that existed, and people were like, yo, I only see this thing live, and we got these stories popping up about this thing, and then it becomes news when this person actually gets a Twitter or Instagram. So like, I think it all boils down to first being good.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like, and that writers have to be able to create stories about you being good.
I mean,
Publicists
but
have
what
to be
about
able to
Ice
say-
JJ Ice Fish J?
you don't have to be. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. Really, you don't
No,
even
I
have to be
don't-
good.
I can't- I
You just
can't.
gotta be catchy,
What-
and you gotta be able to.
What is that? What is that? Is that a successful artist? Like what?
Yeah.
How do
So,
we?
like,
What is he? What is he?
Hey, that's the question. I don't know, but he got like 1 million
It's
plus
true, though.
followers. Like, you know what I mean?
What's his name? Torrance. Well, he's awesome when he does, but But it's true. Like these days, you really don't have to be. If let's say
You don't have to be
I don't
good
think
to
that's
let's
an
say-
artist. Like, first of all, let's be clear. That's Weird Al Yankovic of world star. Like, let's not like confuse that with somebody who's
they're
putting
Vine
working on
artists, they're YouTube
Okay.
artists, they're Instagram models.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, people are
Believe-
making money off of
believe it or
YouTube.
not,
Very-
Yeah.
this exists. Like
Yeah.
people are. When I tell you the money that people are making,
I'm already knowing.
Somebody from YouTube who started a YouTube channel like 3 years ago was on Dancing with the Stars.
yeah,
YouTube channel.
and
Right.
you know what's his name? Todrick.
I know you talking about.
Love Todrick. Love
I
him
don't-
to pieces.
I don't exactly. I think it's, again, I don't know what he does.
He's a well.
He's a singer, performer.
He came from theater
sketch
too.
kind of.
He actually did a song with my client that went viral
Word.
again.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it just
I don't
it's
know, man.
weird.
Like,
It's
I
crazy,
think
man.
that like there's two different discussions. I think that
it is.
there's one where we're talking about how does music exist in this virtual space, and then there's a discussion of how are people taking advantage of people's attention while in this virtual space.
But again, like I said, you can't. It has to be very strategic. You know, that's
Okay.
that's the
I
point
got,
that
I got a
people
difficult
miss.
question for you, Keena.
Oh no.
What's Lupe's strategy? Because he moves through like the
Listen,
social world.
I'm
and
not speaking
a
for Brother
different-
Wasalu today on this radio show.
Disclaimers.
Other than we about to
Oh.
feed the community of Inglewood these 1,000 sandwiches on
Yeah,
Sunday for the
yeah,
5K.
I'm
As far as what he does, you know, he's you know, Wasalu's here and everybody else is over here. That's what you need to understand.
I think that he was one of those dudes that also missed that cusp. Like
Yeah.
he
Mhm.
kind of, you know what I mean, he kind of had his feet, you know, established prior to virtual relevance being a necessity.
Yeah, he was, you know, when he was coming up, obviously, like he kind of started online, like he gravitated to the internet and the message boards. He was very active, you know,
Yeah.
when he was coming up. So I guess he can be an internet artist, but he still had the streets though. Like he was literally, you know,
Yeah.
in both worlds. But
And I think it seems like he's like I don't know. It seems like he struggles. Like, yo, I don't want this. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's 'cause it's a level of realness that he displays. It's like it just really doesn't exist on the what's name. So I guess that's the push that he gets.
yeah,
He's like, no, you can't be real in this format right here. Like, this is not. Nah, you gotta be hyper something. Hyper, angry, hyper compassionate, or hyper.
Yeah.
You just can't.
There's no
Nah.
room for regular.
Yeah, no room for regular on the internet.
Yeah, the internet is like the real world is a democracy, and the internet is like a dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the internet, like you can't disagree. Like I've been
or the
been
hive
killed.
will come after you.
Yeah, I've been attacked by several hives.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Barbies came after me
I think I
once.
was with you one day. You
really?
got attacked by the future
Because
high.
I
Yeah,
said all I said was that Starships was still whack. Like the song was whack.
Mhm.
That you don't.
Once you get that one tag, maybe
Yeah.
like,
That's all it takes.
the bees start
Yeah.
coming. Yeah.
My case was just it got real out of hand. I got a couple of death threats, and it was simply I was at awe of like the irony between Dirty Sprite 2 being a very 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 successful slogan and topic of discussion, and you know Dirty Sprite, I'm sure all the listeners are familiar. It's in reference to codeine and Sprite being mixed.
Right.
And while this was flooding my timeline, also there were floods of just hate and very disrespectful like discussions about Bill Cosby in regards to him spiking a drink. Like there was a joke that was going viral like correspondingly, and I was like, man, it's like y'all really mad at this guy for spiking a drink and really excited about spiking your own drink. And it was like, and that got me.
Common sense doesn't do well on
Yeah,
social
that
media.
started the glitch. It was a glitch. And like fight back.
Right.
They saw the glitch. You was like, no,
Like,
fight back.
You reaching, bro? Get your goof in. And
Yeah.
it just became a thing. You
Yeah.
can't say anything. I just had to wait a week. And
But those are those individuals that live in the virtual space, and
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
How much power they have.
They just live in
But
virtual space.
it's like, for example, I can't remember the lady's name, but you know the story about the one woman. She's working for some marketing firm overseas.
Yes, and she said, "Ooh, that made me so mad."
I can't remember her name, but you can look it up. It was a real simple story. She was going to Africa, white woman, and she tweets, "Excuse me, going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Oh right. Oh, that's right. I'm white."
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah, she get on the flight. By the time she get off the flight, she done lost her job. Her whole life has changed. She's viral. She's like, and the internet has just imposed this change on her life, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's scary.
It's scary because, like, first of all it took was like the right troll or retweet in her that got her hung.
Mm-hmm.
Because people say stuff like this all
Well,
the time.
but
You know what I'm saying?
that was her profession, though, so she should know this.
Well, but what I'm saying is that, like, if we're going to police this virtual space to that magnitude, we might as well log off. Because I'm sure if we can dig through something that all of y'all in here didn't like, or something, you know what I mean, made them been judged by it, somebody can dig back 72 weeks and, like, damn, that's what you was on? You put all of, you know what I mean, them Ha's, all them E's and them Y's under that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it can, anything can be manufactured into a swayed opinion in either way, because the internet, like I like to call it, is pretty much a playground for your thoughts.
Yeah.
And with this playground of our thoughts, people are being judged and being hung by, sometimes righteously, sometimes unrighteously. I think that certain influencers, like when I see a Rupert Murdoch, like the guy who pretty much owns TV, says like, yo, it's time for us to have a real first black president. Like, that's like, damn, like you know what I mean, you pretty much own television and you know what I mean, you dissing the president. So like, that goes to show when I turn on my television, I'm going to get, very swayed opinions about my president. So like, it's kind of cool in a way, because it's like, yo, the internet is just this place where everybody's lifting up their skirt and showing their true colors. And like, some people, you get that reminder where it's like, yo, if I once thought that, Fox or CNN was riding with us.
Yeah, like
this quick reminder that's like, yo, no.
So speaking of which, I know this is very random, but y'all know there's a petition to get Raven Simone off.
Is that real?
Is that real?
Yes, and I was one of the first people to sign it.
I don't.
Change your word.
To me, that what network is that? ABC, NBC, what's that?
ABC.
You don't need to be on neither one of those networks.
I think they know what she's
they're
doing,
doing.
and they know. Yeah.
That's,
so
just like Don
and then
Lemon. Fox knows what they're doing with.
You know what happened with Don? I saw something about that, and I was like, they getting rid of Don.
Right, and you're exactly right. They know exactly what they're doing with.
And then
Raven.
it's kind of like that whole, she's quote unquote. So you really can't say anything against the network. I feel bad for Raven Simone, because you can't say anything at the network because.
I don't feel bad for her.
No. This is the whole thing, because she's going to get it, because like they would say like ABC, like if it was coming from a white mouth, then like the network can get this person off the show. They're racist, but it's coming from Raven Simone, so you get that whole racial card is kind of flipped. Like no, she's with y'all.
Black. What is she doing?
Y'all can't say nothing. She's one of y'all.
Yeah.
We just giving her a mic.
Man, like I ain't got no opinion on her. All I know is like, people like us are influencers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We are, you know what I'm saying, the people that speak on behalf of our people.
Absolutely.
And it's just important for us to create our own platforms so that can't nobody be jurisdicting what goes on and what how our opinions are being swayed. When I see stuff like that from Raven, I know it's just sweat equity of the same thing that Rupert was just tweeting. So like it's we all know that's all coming from the same tree. That's why it's important for us to take advantage of our power in front of these microphones and access to Wi-Fi and just build our own. You know what I mean? And I say that like, it may sound old age, but like, just even with what we spoke about earlier, what can be the change in like our social scene here in Chicago. That's why it was important for me to own my own facility. You know what I mean? Because like, one of the first things I seen with music is that people gonna have to go somewhere to do music.
Right.
And why we always got to go to them. We can go to ourselves. And now it's going to be like getting our own venues and then getting our own after-hour spots and getting our own restaurants. And now when we have our own space, you know what I mean? Now we can jurisdict what's cool and what's not cool. Like when Raven says stuff like that on that network, that's not my space anyway. I don't expect nothing good out of that space for me anyway. You know what I'm saying?
just need a
revolt. to have a show like that, or we need to have our own, you know what I mean, domains that are putting out these shows. So like it ain't, you know what I mean, when they doing wrong, do we really expect, you know, any of these networks to do right by us? Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like really any,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
it's a trickle-down effect.
and networks and people in my realm. I mean, I've seen some websites where I'm like, let me get a hold to the editor's email real quick because they shouldn't have let this story fly.
Word.
You know, Serena just won 24, however many Wimbledon she has, and they published a story like on Monday, like, oh, she's pregnant by Drake.
Right.
It had like 1 million retweets. The story went viral. Less than 24 hours later, they said she dropped Drake. She's still pregnant with his baby, but now she's flying with somebody else.
Word.
And people were and I went on there to read the comments. I'm like, can't nobody really believe this. Like, come on now, it's coming from a not credible source. There were people on there calling her off, bashing her, like they really legit believe these stories.
Yeah.
And the majority of it was African Americans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
And I'm just like,
Don't get me started on that.
I'm just like, we can't
You gotta
push
pray
in
for
a
our
positive
people.
way.
Yes.
We can't push in a positive way if y'all just believe everything that come across the screen.
I mean, our country, man, it created something very, very, very profitable for itself when it created the Negro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very self-sufficient, like, enigma that will continuously push for the advantage of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So when we really got to break the chains on some for real, when it's like you got some people who would only do things like every part of their life will be to the benefit of someone outside of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see these people comment and bash other people, it's like that's only getting the site clicks or whatever the case is.
Yeah, right.
Like is or like even when we indulge in these conversations, like and we get in these arguments about who should be fired, who should not. Like really, let's be for real. Like that ain't got nothing to do with our lives, yo.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, once we become a more self-sufficient people,
Mm-hmm.
and we make sure that like the man next to us is good, like you know what I'm saying? Like when you decide to start selling your scarves, or Keena needs some more PR, or give him a mail with the camera and start shooting some videos. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Leo, he want to break off and get his own network popping. Like these need to be the everyday conversations. You know what I mean? Because like we are brilliant people. And we invest in energy in the wrong places.
I always
I
say
agree.
that
I agree.
our young people are the heartbeat of creativity around the world.
So let's not waste it on Raven Simone.
I'm just saying because I signed it. That's all. I signed it. I'm about sick of her and her purple.
So do you think the Chance the Rapper and his independent streak will actually genuinely kind of like spark a change amongst other artists?
I mean,
because right now Chance, at least and then especially with that performance he just had, is really doing something that nobody can front on.
You can never front on that at all. I think that is.
And Chicago's a city who loves to front on their artists. Like
This is true.
I mean, it ain't a Chicago thing. It's really a black thing.
It doesn't true.
You know what I'm saying? So like, let's be mindful. Like, and when we dealing with Chicago, we really just all the people who low key left our brothers behind in the South when we escaped.
Mm-hmm.
So like, when we really want to get down to it, like, there's a certain distinguishment of us in general. You know what I'm saying? So. Like we really want to go what's in our DNA, like for real. So when Channel does that, and what is it sparking? It's sparking something that's really dope. You know what I mean? I think that it's hopefully it cracks the door for a movement. Like I love the relationship between like the fact that his dad is involved. You know what I'm saying? And you have this relationship where you have a black man and a black father, and moving forward,
And a younger brother.
and a younger brother, like a family in general.
Yeah,
like this thing that's never associated with black people. You know what I'm saying? Like family and black people is like, yo, what is the black family? They never coexist. Like, and I would love for 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, that becomes the story. You know what I'm saying? Now we have people coming back, and I like to see what he's doing, collaborating with the powers that be here. Next time around, I think it's time for us to start collaborating with ourselves. I think it's time for us to start owning ourselves and start controlling our own land, policing our own communities the right way. And I think that what he's doing is something that could eventually trickle down to the effectiveness in that level. From a music standpoint, yeah, I think that like there's still a lot of artists out here who are gung-ho on the old school way. will look at the
Yeah.
channel and be like,
Yeah.
yo, I gotta go to radio and spend
Mm-hmm.
10,000. I gotta go. You know what I mean? Do this, do that. And you know, obviously that's not true because obviously that doesn't even have a success rate. So I don't know why you would go that way.
Yeah, that's not a proven thing.
Right.
You know,
So with the music, I just think that, you know, it'll really be dope once, you know what I mean, say he come back to the crib and buy a venue. And now we have a stage where
Yeah.
new dope artists can perform. And now it directly affects
Mhm.
the community. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now there's a space that we can control, opposed to us having to twist arms at these venues that don't really want us there.
in the first place.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's dope. I think it's awesome what he's doing, but I think the artists right up under him is still had a goal of trying to get signed to a major label because that's all they know. So when they flash a $250K check in your face and you ain't never seen more than, you know, $500,
Right.
you know, that's gonna be the goal. But like you said, if he comes by, buys a venue, collabs with somebody, does some dope things, now kids and people up under him, the next chance is like, I ain't gotta get signed by so I can do this myself.
Mhm.
Exactly.
You know, so as soon as people start digging into his story to see how he did it, then it will start trickling down. But right now, people still got that same goal of, I gotta get signed.
I guess I feel like it's more so. It's just we haven't really got out that age where like that's still that radio allure is still there. That I wanted to hear my song on the radio for the first time and in the car. That's still there. And
Let me
the
tell you about
industry
that allure.
still has that.
That allure is strictly just an amplified version of what we just discussed about the studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
It's true.
it's exactly that. It's exactly hearing yourself come through speakers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that same allure that people like. Yo, I remember I was a shorty and you know what I mean. They used to have a birthday line and one of my homegirls called and she's like, yo, I'm about to shout y'all out on the radio. You know what I'm saying? It was a big deal. We
Turn it
recorded
up,
it.
press record on the tape.
Yeah, right. She's like,
Don't
yo,
you show on the radio?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my boy Merk, my man. Oh, yo, made it. It was a big deal. It was like the biggest deal ever. So that I don't necessarily think that applies directly to like WGCI or Power 92 or you know Radio 1 or Clear Channel, any of them. I think it directly applies to people outside of you giving you attention. You know what I'm saying? And the more scenarios we can create, just like we have people lined up, you know, down the street for open mics or to pay to perform and all these other, you know, subpar things at times, like there's a certain level of just ambiguousness that comes with that. Like you just really, you dig that. That'd be dope. You know what I'm saying? Just to have people check you out. Like you have people come to your show and they like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and they play it and people listen to it and they have an opinion. It's like you stripping for people. I'm showing you the inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and that's just that. And the more people are stripped of this subconsciousness, you know, the better we become.
Okay, I can agree. Keena, what's your thoughts? Or do you?
No, I think that he hit it right on the nose about radio. Radio to me, it's even though it's annoying, you know, it's still very important in regards to I guess making that. How can I put this? Because I really don't want to be like negative. It's not that. It's important in this.
Real.
Right. It's important when it comes to like sales. I think so. And these days, you know, since that's what a lot of people want to do, I know Merk's gonna be like, well.
Nah.
Well, one of the things that I found ironic is I don't really think it's. I think it's actually it may be a chance choosing that he doesn't want to get played on WGCI.
No, but he
Power
came
92.
out with the hoodies on at the show.
Yeah, but he came with that's the irony. Like you would think that he gets love. I ain't saying he doesn't. I think it might be of his choosing that I don't want this.
It may be of his choosing. I don't
but
see chance at like the Drake or because when I think about somebody getting radio spins, I directly correlate that with record sales because to me that's what radio's for, right?
Yeah.
Chance.
A program.
Right. Exactly. It's
They say
numbers. You know what I'm saying?
They
Numbers,
it's
spins.
radio programming.
Right.
They say it. It's clear as
Right
day.
in the right in the commercial.
Right.
This is what we're here to do.
So-
Program you to like this.
With somebody like Chance, who is, you know, I don't know much about Chance. I've met him randomly, but as far as his movement, that's just something that you just can't deny. Like, you don't even have to listen to Chance the Rapper to know what he's doing, you know what I'm saying, and the moves that he's making. So I think in the long run, that's what's going to be like his mark, you know, musically. Like I said, I'm not really, I don't know if his music is all that great.
I think that Chano is dope. What he's doing is dope. I think that, you know, not even on no shameless plug, anything I work with in particular, but like the story that we overlook. Nah, I work with Chief Keef, and like that's probably the idea of the beautiful struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like the literal have not. The literal like get your up out of here. We don't want nothing to do with your type. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that like real live Rose in the Concrete, like, and even, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think that Chance is like, I mean, he's dope. Don't get it twisted. Like, they super dope. You know what I'm saying? But like, he's a very manicured, well-spoken young dude that comes from,
very
you
much
know
so.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I thought the same thing about that one guy who he had one song. I'm so sorry. What's his name? It started with the S. They say Spenzo.
Spenzo.
Okay.
Wifer.
Yeah.
That's the
You know, when I met him and to hear him speak, he was,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? Very articulate, very aware.
Yeah.
You know, but again,
Like, I think that's just a case of, I mean, Spenzo is I mean, he dope, and I've had him on a couple shows. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I just think his time, it will eventually come.
Yeah.
That's all I can
Yeah, I
say
just
about
think that song got in front of them.
Yeah, that. But what I'm saying is, like, when you gotta, like, let's be honest, like, what took place here in 2012 in Chicago with the drill explosion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
that,
Let's not
and
talk about that.
being a huge part of that, man, that was like one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced in my entire
See, I
life.
got the back end of it.
Right.
I
I got the back end of it real bad.
Right.
I interviewed a lot of artists who, you know, it was, for a long time, it was an argument over who created that scene.
What?
You know, I mean, right down to the person who, I can't remember who it was, but, you know,
He's sitting
they
right
were,
here to the right.
no, but I'm saying, like, it was people, you know, when I interviewed different artists, and I don't want to say their names because I don't want to start no feuds, but when I interviewed different artists, they swear that everybody from their clique started it.
Yeah.
So now I got to post this video on my website.
Right.
Where last week I told, you know what I'm saying? So, and then a lot of times those artists are not well prepared for interviews.
What?
You know what I mean? So now I got to chop up this 15-minute interview where you go around in circles about your clique and about, you know, your music, but you're not really speaking in sentences. So now here I am, a black woman, trying to make it look, you know what I mean?
Preach system.
Political for my website so my viewers can understand. And then I got to X out some of your words because you straight talking like, you know what I mean?
Ridiculousness.
So, right. And we, you know, on a website and video. And so it's like, I get the back end of it because I'm like, this is a beautiful scene. It's something that Chicago created, but we kind of didn't.
Man, it's something that's bigger than this space. Like, I was at Power 105 when Keith was like, I'm 300 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm like right behind the camera. So like, I just think that it's one of those things like that it represents something that's not fit for this space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that we need to force it into this space. And I think that's where we have like these artists having difficult times in the business of music. When it's really not even about business. Like, these relationships, and these are real things. Like, people dying. Like, it's a real life. Like, yo, I have situations in the studio where it's like I have people in one studio who were responsible for 2 bodies in the next studio.
I understand what the first, you know what I'm saying, 16 was about. So it's like drill is the next, you know, now we're not conscious no more. We got drill. So you just got to embrace it and roll with it.
I roll with the idea that Chief Keef, he fathered an entire entrepreneurial wave.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He gave birth to, like, he's probably responsible for the sale of more 7Ds than anybody. He's responsible for 30% of the videos on YouTube, period. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about, like, just the equity into entrepreneurship in general, like, that can't be denied, that nobody can argue with. Like, we're talking about, you know what I'm saying?
He can patent the styling of his videos. Like, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He'd be a millionaire by now.
He is, but I just, outside of the money, it's like, there's a certain thing that you just can't knock. Like, he's pretty much, like, low-key a modern-day Henry Ford for what he's done for the music. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, you just gotta respect it. And that come from the crib. That make me proud to be from the crib.
Absolutely.
Outside of us working together,
There's a lot going on here.
From the crib.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I guess we need to wrap this up, and I'm gonna wrap this up with again because my whole point, and I want to thank everybody for coming out. Because, you know, I was really excited. My whole point, the reason why I was excited, I usually live a very whammed life, you know, just not under, not over, but just whammed. But the reason why I was excited, because it was like an opportunity to give. So it's a lot of things, and like I said earlier, like you're doing the session, which is, you know, bridging the gap between art and fans, art and listeners, and artists in the industry. What is because there's always a trend of things going on, like, no, that ain't the way to go. That ain't, now they doing that now. I'm like, man, they trying to finesse you all like that now.
Right.
So, from you guys' perspective and opinions, what should artists like look out for, or what should be I don't want to say what should be a step an artist should take to further their success from you guys' perspective?
Ladder.
That's what Joyce started.
Oh man, that's me up first. That's a list of things. I mean, obviously have some material. Don't just start. You know, obviously everybody starts somewhere with one single, two singles, but really the most important thing is when you start, you can't stop.
Sure.
So when you release, so when you decide to step on the stage and say, you know, I'm rapper such and such, you better have 3 mixtapes done. Or 3 singles or something, you know, something, because once it starts, the machine doesn't stop. Make sure you're well prepared. You got to put money into yourself, PR, marketing resources. You know, have a whole. You are a business. You know, it's not a hobby. You know, being a rapper, entertainer, period, is a full-blown business. So come professional, because I tell a lot of people, when you submit to the site, you better have that picture of the single. You better have a SoundCloud link, the YouTube link, because I'm not going to look for it. You know what I'm saying? So when you send me a submission, make sure you got all that, because I ain't got time to go try to Google. You know, nobody has an original name. Like, it's not their birth name. It'd be like space hyphen MC such and such. I ain't got time to Google that. So, you know, come with a complete package, you know. And then make sure you can back it up. You know, be original. Make sure you can back it up. And there's so much opportunity to make money, to grow, to put your art out there, and for people to listen. You just got to do it the right way. Be original. You know, come with a product. And there's always somebody willing to listen, and the world will let you know if you're worth listening to.
Okay, that makes sense. Keena.
Yes, my sister here, she really hit on the main points that I was going to say. Definitely content is king. You know, you got to have content. You can't come to me about, hey, I just want to get out there more. Okay, well, what you got? And you got 1 song.
Gotta have something to work with.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
gotta have something to work with.
Like, where they do that at? You know? But
So what? Okay. So here's a question, because I both said content is king. What would you say is the average? Like, what's the social media internet shelf life? Because it's definitely shorter than it once was. So what would you say is the shelf
even
life?
2 weeks at the most.
Like, so 2 weeks and then we starting to decay.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
A perfect example, not to get off topic. A perfect example. What was the picture today? Justin Bieber posted a photo because he had put out a photo like, should I do a remix to Hotline Bling? Now, by the time it came across my timeline, it was retweeted by like a radio station or magazine, some publication, some major publication. So I click on Justin Bieber page. He posted it 5 minutes before they reposted it.
Right.
5 minutes, like 5 minutes, and y'all already didn't reposted the man. So like when she say 2 weeks, 2 weeks is like 2 years of social media time.
It really is. Like 2 weeks is like the max. Like, it's just it's crazy that it's gotten to that point, but it's so true. Like,
is it 2 weeks and then we starting to like
not
promote?
We're not caring. after
Are we
2
promoting another track after 2
weeks.
weeks?
We and not even promo another track. I don't know from your standpoint, but not necessarily 2 weeks and then promo another track, but 2 weeks and you better have a radio appearance, you better be in a magazine, or you better be shouting out such or such. Like
something
you got
new.
You have to.
You just need something new. Like you can't. I know that's very.
Until you get to the stage where you're the Jay-Z and you can post once a month, you
Exactly.
gotta have something every day.
And you know that ain't
every
no time
day.
soon. So let's keep it real.
Exactly.
So you really,
Okay.
So you really have to be like. That's why you have to have this stuff ready and on deck.
Yeah.
Like you're not ready to come to somebody like myself if you don't have at least, like she said, 3 projects.
Yeah.
At least 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you have to think
Pointless.
future.
It's pointless.
Right.
It's really pointless.
You in this world you really can't live in the present. You have to think future. Like you really, that's why I said it's strategic. Like, okay, I want to put this out on this day, and then it's going to follow up with this, and then I'm going to follow up with this, and then I'm going to follow up with this. But most people don't think like that, unfortunately. But that's the business side of it that artists don't really know, and that comes to my other point, which is education and research.
Oh, education.
You're right. You know, you have to kind of educate yourself if you know, and I'll use, I guess I'll use Lupe as an example. Like, if you know that this is the steps that you want to take, like, research and see how that artist did it. Go and see, like, well, I'm going to educate myself on this because I know I don't have the money to do this. Keep it real.
Exactly.
I know, you know what I'm
Google.
saying? Like, you have all the resources in the world. You may got to go to a library, get your library card, check out a book, and read on how, the music industry best practices, or just stuff like that. It's important because one, you really don't want to put yourself out there. I'm talking from a branding standpoint now. Whatever the message or your image that you put out there, like especially the initial first impression, that's gonna stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sticks. Like no matter how you try to rebrand yourself, like Nikki, she can.
The pink hair ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. She can dress as down as she want to, but we're always gonna remember her as that chick with the big old booty and pink hair.
The hair
with the gold,
with the gold
chicken wing. What she have? I don't know.
With her legs open, copying Little Kim, which I ain't gonna go there again,
really
but
like that
she
picture.
copied Little Kim.
That's not a bad image. That's not a bad image in mine.
But
we all know it. We all remember it.
Right.
But when it comes to the Nicki Minaj brand, I use her as an example because that is what was first put out there. So that's what people are always going to remember her for, right? So as an artist, you don't just want to jump off the ledge and I don't know why.
But I can speak for some artists, not all. But because it was this drape over the industry for so long. Mm-hmm. Now you're essentially growing up before people, like, and you're finding your way, which human beings do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You're finding your way, but you're doing it in front of the eyes of millions, and they no, that's fake. That wasn't you. Oh, you changed up. Like, no, this is what I'm a human. I grow. I develop. Like, I feel a different way now. It's like, so that's what I guess that's the issue I think some of the artists are having with branding, and because it's like you can't nobody's just won anything.
Right.
I think the problem is, and it's kind of from the conversation earlier, is that Jay-Z Blueprint Jay-Z versus Black Album Jay-Z is a totally different Jay-Z, but he didn't have to do it in front of Instagram.
Right.
I think Will Smith said it best about his son. Like, everybody was like, yo, your kid's wild, and like cutting their hair, and then he was like, I used to be a stupid 17-year-old boy. The difference is I didn't have Twitter.
Right. You just never saw it. Yeah.
You just didn't see me. You know what I mean? So
unless you went in my radius, you didn't see me.
Exactly.
But
so it's the same thing.
Like I said, unfortunately we do.
Exactly.
So we have to be aware and just use the channel as it should, and in a responsible way. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Okay.
Can you run that question about me just so I can have it fresh on my psyche?
Oh, so
I'll make it quick too.
I know. So the question was, I guess we ended off on like, so what advice would you give an artist, or what would you tell them to steer away from,
Well,
essentially?
The first thing is like it's really difficult to be a public relations manager, a brand manager, a booking agent, a producer,
Say that.
singer, songwriter, and performer.
Say that. Oh.
It's difficult to do all of these
Outsource.
things. So, like, I think it first just starts with like surrounding yourself with people you can trust.
Mm.
You know,
Goes a long way.
and being in an environment that brings the best out of you. Now with just period, like now, the irony is the chances of the person that can be the most beneficial to your music career, and the person that will keep it most real with you, and the person that can be the best asset from a branding or managerial aspect, it's a very slim chance that person is going to be your cousin or your brother or your homie next door. It's a slim chance. Not saying it's impossible. It's just a slim chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that in mind, and like the women, they gave great advice. I think that it's important to do all of these things, but I think it's difficult for you to do it, new artists. You know what I'm saying? So I think it is important, like Joyce mentioned too. Like with some of these services, if you're lucky enough, or if you're talented enough to have people who are willing to do this for you on a house, so be it. If you're not blessed with, or people aren't as excited, about the music, maybe you do have to, as they say, throw wood in the fire to keep it going. And, money do grow off trees, so maybe it does take hiring, the right people.
Reputable.
Reputable, one, two, people that you can trust. And people that have your best interests in mind.
Absolutely.
Now, public relations and branding are extremely important. Like these people, there is no cookie cutter way to becoming popular or to amplifying the situation. Only people who believe in it can do it. Only people who believe in it can do it. When you're an independent artist, like what I mean by that, there's tons of people who have Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne features that we never hear. Frankly, because there is this all you got to do is aspect, and that was a business transaction. And with music, we can never let the business trump the scenario. Is art, you know what I mean? It's going to always be art, and the people are going to always love the art. Now, if your goal of being in the music industry is to make money, if that's your premier goal to make money, I would suggest you go to a field that has the higher rate of making money. Maybe you should, just be a doctor, a lawyer, sell drugs, credit cards, whatever it may be. Those scenarios may end up being more profitable. The success rate in rap is not as high in those versus those fields. So, with that being said, like you already doing this because you love it. And you should do it with people who love it just as much as you do. And people, like, I can reiterate trust only so much. Like, there are people out here who will charge you for their time because it's worth something. But there are other people who will take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
And you have to, sometimes you just gotta follow your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that means just, logging off and, what I'm saying, just getting a pure opinion of a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody trying to sell you something, I know me personally, I don't really like people selling me stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. Especially in PR, it's gotten worse.
It becomes this thing where, this capsuled up fame that I'm bagging up and selling it to every rapper that's out here. And that's not the relationship between public relations and music, because the truth is public relations is someone who takes your product and increases and improves the relationship between it and the public.
Right, exactly.
And there's no way to do that if you don't care about it.
That's what
You know
I
what I'm
said.
saying?
In the world, let you know whether it's worth caring. Just as, just for the hungry artists out there right now, we, like I said, when you come to us, being a manager and being a blogger, I'm looking for you to have an idea at least or something.
Yeah.
And the artist I'm working with now, we didn't even release a single until this project was done, finished, like in the bag. We released a single, got PR for it, and it got 20,000 hits in less than 2 months.
Let me ask you this
That's
about
nuts.
Do you like him?
Absolutely. I was with him from the beginning, so to see him create something so organic and him to trust us with the process, because that's when somebody trusts you with their dream, you don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to see him do that and then to release a single, nobody's ever heard of him, and then to get 20,000 K on SoundCloud in less than 2 months with no feature by itself. We put that out there, and the world told us he's got something to say. We want to listen. So it's not necessarily like you say. Selling things and selling a hopeless dream. You got to actually be around people that you trust. Educate yourself and have something worth saying.
And I definitely just want to send a warning, because I've for me doing the strategy sessions that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, a lot of these artists, they'll say, oh, I met with this publicist and she had this big presentation about all these outlets and how she's gonna get me on this,
or
he.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Yeah, it's me. And it's just like, it's unfortunate that I feel like PR it's starting to get into one of those fields. Like, everybody is like, oh, I can do PR. I have a couple relationships. I can, I can pay. You know what I'm saying? So it's starting to get like that. And one thing that you have to know is, like, PR, it's not guaranteed. Like, a publicist can tell you, I will get you on World Star, I'll get you on this. But truthfully, that's not guaranteed.
Because when she sent it to me, I might overlook the email. Like, who is this?
Right. Truthfully. So if you're paying somebody to get you put on these outlets and they're saying, yeah,
like in the dark.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, the outlets are just the outlets. I think it's important just to be like a part of a team that cares just as much about the music as you do.
Exactly. That's what's important, and that's why I was saying earlier that, for me, I have to be passionate about what you're doing. I have to know what your story is, like, what's your purpose, why are you doing this? Like, what's your mission in life? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
What's your why?
Right.
Yeah,
these are the type of questions that I ask people that come to me, and I know they're probably thinking like, what is she, like, a therapist or something? But it's like, no, it's like, it's, music is passion. It has to come from someplace.
Yeah, so this information helps me, then helps you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So there you go.
All right, so stay away from the.
It's finesses out here, man. But it's I don't necessarily I don't hamper on the people in public relations who are taking advantage of these artists, because I don't necessarily think it's taking advantage. I think in some cases it's really a black and white situation. Some artists aren't here for success. They're here to get they high shot of fame.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody can bag it up and give you a little fame, and
then that's
we
the
can make a
risk
clean cut. If you here and your goal is to get on World Star and I charge you for it, that's just that. Like, some of these relationships are disguised as bit like personal, intimate relationships, and so some people it really is just business. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why I've had a difficult time in the public relation field and the branding field. I don't necessarily know how to itemize a la carte that scenario. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just
So that's it. I want to thank everybody for being here. This round table. It was refreshing for me because I don't get to talk to you guys that much, and it's just it's the music thing is something that I'm passionate about, and it's just like just brainstorming and just talking and just relieving it, because it's this is a handful of people. The circle's getting bigger now, but like a handful of people who I can actually talk about music with, like intimately and things of that nature. So I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to thank you guys for sharing time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I was telling some people, I'm like, tune in today. Like, these people get paid for their time, man. and they're giving it up for free. They get paid for their opinions and their perspectives and stuff like that. I'm like, so just listen. Don't listen for me. Let's listen for you. And so I hope everybody got something away from it. Again, thank you guys for coming through.
November 15th, the session, man. We're doing it again every month. Artists, man. I know y'all looking for people to, you know, you're tired of sending hate mail to the blogs and you go move on Andrew when you see him in the streets and all that. Just, y'all ain't got to be all that, man. Just come by the Plex, man. Bring a record through. I'm going to check it out and maybe I can answer why, you know what I mean, he ain't got back at you. Man. So,
that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different conversation.
And for those who living under the rock, the address to Complex.
Complex 2010, man. It's 2010 South Wabash. That's CLMPLEX.
I memorized that address, man. So many album releases been happening.
Yeah, man. We're putting in work, man. Come through.
It's dope.
Thank you very much. You know, y'all can hit the line, man. We looking out for artists in every way, shape, or form, man. So, 312-624-9678. Follow the joint at CMPLX 2010. We always doing cool events there, man, for artists, man, and trying to bridge the gap between, you know what I mean, between our hashtags and our actual, you know, persons.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, you know, check out the Breakfast Club. Everybody here besides Joyce been the Breakfast Club, but I think she will come out next time, and I'm explaining to her what it is. But
she's coming.
She's coming. You know what I mean? We go break bread, you know, and over some coffee and some toast, man, and keep this vibe going. Merk, my site, anything I just said, all you got to remember is a kid from Chicago, akidfromchicago.com. That's whatever you're looking for is right there. I was surprised that domain was available. I bought it like 3 weeks ago. But the site is up.
Yeah,
check it out.
I'm like,
yeah, so man, anything y'all want to know about anything I'm doing, just check out akidfromchicago.com. Yeah, we give y'all some of my new business cards that just came today. I'm excited about them.
So I guess it's my turn.
Keena, shoes.
So yes, my company is Introvision Artists, a proud sponsor of the session, November 15th. You know, I may bring some of my artists through.
Please do.
Yes. So, we got a caller. Or not.
That's supposed to be gone.
Yeah. Is that one of those?
So I don't know if I should continue. Introvision Artists, my company, proud sponsor of the session, November 15th. Also, like I said, I do nonprofit. I serve on the board of directors for Lupe Fiasco's nonprofit called Mural. We are doing something awesome for this Sunday, the Inglewood 5K walk and race. We partner with the Blackhawks, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Shake Shack. And we've got 1,000 healthy meals that we'll be providing to the Inglewood community.